Okay, so here's our final runway look for the week. It's going to be Helmut Spring Summer of 24, look number 14. Um, here's a male wearing a denim jumpsuit. What I've done in your module in the reference look is I've lightened this up considerably. I've also made a black and white here, and I'm not sure how well it's going to show up. Now, because this is kind of a gender fluid look, no problem, I'm going to use my 10 head croquis again. I'm comfortable with that, make it a female. However, I can always use my male template if I like. That's up to you. So I'll be back in a second, and I'm going to map out the pose. First, I want to just point out, because we are very accustomed to these speed sketches to get the basic pose down, so I just wanted to point out that this time, rather than, unlike the other times, it is the one on the left that's going forward right here, which then means that the shoulder goes in this direction. I can also map out what happens at the waist because this cinches right here at the waist. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and kind of get my basic shape for my garment. Now for this one, I'm not sure you can see it real well, but I've just gone ahead and gotten the basic silhouette of this pose. Right here is the knee, so this is what's coming forward. We've got a lot of material here. It's a baggy look, a nice baggy jumpsuit. It's a fun look here. And then here at the outside, where he's bending his leg back here, that's when we start to see that fabric being pushed up. And back here when we see that foreshortened leg, and that just disappears. Up here on the top, and like I said, we have not done the interior parts, but he's got that collar coming up. His collar is rolled up, and we also see, not rolled up, we also see that the shoulders are very broad. This may have to do with the fact that he is a male rather than a female, or he just may have some shoulder pads here, not quite sure. I think this is very relaxed, so there might not be shoulder pads. So that's the basic exterior of the look, or the silhouette. Be back with the interior in just a moment. For the interior, I just wanted to point out that I have made that collar come up. I should make it come higher towards the chin. Need to erase a few things here. It's coming down. You can see that this part that's attached to the front that's falling open is there. You also see that we've got a couple of patch pockets giving this some structure. We've also got a lot of material being drawn in at the middle with this belt, and I've lowered the belt a little bit. We've also have some extra fabric being pushed around because this person has his hands in his pockets here and is pushing that forward. A lot of stuff is being drawn towards this weight-bearing leg, okay? And we see a little bit of a gap between the legs here. In the back, we see, again, you see this being pushed up a little bit, but then when the leg is being pushed back, that's when you see the fabric being pushed up there, and so that's why you get that shape. On this other one of the things that you really want to pay attention to is that trouser break in front. I may actually have this a little too wide, but as far as garment details are concerned, one thing that you want to keep in mind is that this is a nice tell here, this double line. And so we've got that double line being pushed down farther because the knee comes down farther, and you don't see much of the line back there. But I just wanted to show where the tension is across the knee. This is a structured fabric, just like most denim. It's a little bit thicker, and so we actually want to get that placket going all the way down to the crotch here, and that follows all the way up here. Now that's a little bit messy probably, but I just wanted to show you how I got my basic drawing, and I'll come back once I have it all inked in. So here you can see that I have gone ahead and inked in most of this. Now I have forgotten to put a few of these tension lines, or these things where the fabric's being pushed up. This is a very workman kind of look. I've actually made sure to pay attention to the trouser break and to the fact that this is very structured and actually has a crease in the middle. So you want to pay attention to that. And so next I'm going to go ahead and use my media. I've got my page here, going to do the cool gray, manganese blue, little light suntan for the facial features or for the skin tone. Be right back. Just wanted to point out that for the most of this, I just started out laying down a just solid layer of cool gray. Next, I wanted to show you that I added a second layer to try to get that dark gray as dark as I can. I emphasized the shadows, emphasized the trouser break, emphasized the sides of the garment that are farther away from the light. I am doing this as I'm talking. And just these other places where there's definitely going to be some dark value, where the stuff is pushed up at the sleeves, at the sides, etc., etc. Now, because this is denim, I'm going to overlay that gray with the manganese blue, and I also laid in a couple of layers. I put a couple of layers there. So now I've got my basic stuff, and so now I'm looking at my color, and I think that there's a couple of things I might want to add later. But the next thing I really want to do with denim is to start adding my colored pencils. And for that one, I am going to go for the indigo black, indigo blue, and black where there's got the leather shoe, and maybe a little bit of black where there's the really dark stuff going on. But I'll go ahead and add that and be back in a flash. Okay, I've added that blue, and I've been kind of cross-hatching with that because you know how denim always has a twill weave, and so you're going to get that diagonal stuff. So if I hatch a little bit, that's good. I want to also add a little bit of darker hatching to this foreshortened leg because I want people to know that's in the back. Also want to just go ahead, and this is a very dark garment, so I am just adding a little bit more black, emphasizing the creases, trying to get just a little bit darker around the underneath the collar, underneath these creases or at these creases. And then I'm going to go in and blend just a little bit, maybe with the gray, get some of this going, get this, you know how nicely that gets pushed around with the gray marker. Okay, don't need to really worry too much about everything because it is denim, and as long as you're getting the basic point across, you'll be okay. And I'm blending a little bit here. I'm going to add a couple little touches here. Now I almost always add just a little bit of white cross hatching with denim because we know that on the opposite side of the denim there's also that twill weave, so it's white going like this on the other side. So I'm going to do that, and also I'm just going to add a little bit of white to these lighter parts here where that's catching a little bit of the light, especially over here on this other side where we've got a lot of that trouser showing in the light. The shoe is definitely going to get some black there, and I'm going to add a little bit of white because that's white denim. I'm going to go ahead and just barely put a little bit of shadow there at that shirt that's coming out. And then I've noticed that there's a little bit of red stitching here. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of the crimson red to some of this stitching just to give it a little bit more oomph. And I'm going to add this white for the metal at the belt and just, like I said, a little bit more red around the stitching areas here. But, you know, just a little bit to get you going. There you go. And we've got our final look for the week. All right. Thank you very much. And we also have our media that we used for the week too. This will all be in your module. So, and of course I put the look down here. I put my signature and I gave it a little bit of the flourish there. Thank you.